Welcome to Sinfully Fun Games. We are looking at Genso Manège demo. So, I usually do these type of games on my other channel, Sinfully Pure, but I've decided to look at it here because I can. Because the chat needs a palate cleanser is all I'm gonna say. That is really loud. So this is a demo. Let's see if it's any good. So these are by mages who you guys have heard of before if you watch my other channel. They did the Konosuba game and a couple of others. The sky was gray. Snow fell from the clouds like porcelain crystals from a dull curtain. Frost-covered park coating. It's already still attractions in frozen silvery sheets. They also did the Twins game. Oh, I'm actually going into the configuring and speed that up. So you kind of get to see a little bit of the options menu now. Not bad. I like the options menu for this game. That's cute. Frost-covered park coated, it's already still attractions in frozen silvery sheets. Where there was once smiles and cheers, silence now reigns. Save for a few souls, that is.
なぜこんなことをするんだ
What?
俺たちから奪う権利はないはずだろう
I do like their visual novels. I need to do
説明したはずだ。我々に必要だと。
You know that voice, I've heard it before.
奴らに構わず続けろ。
承知しました。やめろ。やめてくれ。俺たちの居場所を奪うな
歯向かう相手を間違えたな。
Got a gat. The man draws a gun.
貴様はこれで終わりだ。
He pulled the trigger. That was a short visual novel. There was a flash, then smoke coiled out from the barrel. A bullet sped towards the fallen young man, only to collide with something else entirely. That something let out a shrill whine as the bullet bore into it. There was another bright flash of light before one blinding intensity. For a split second, everything was white. And then darkness.
僕の声が聞こえるか返事をしてくれ
Someone was shouting.
お願いだなんとか言ってくれどうか目を覚まして
Did I get reborn as a woman? I jolted awake. I was joking, by the way. I found myself in my room, rays of the morning sun poking through the curtains. The aroma of freshly bloomed violets drifted through the slightly ajar window. Am I... Something ran down my cheek. I reached up to touch it and felt something wet, tears. I'm crying, but why? That dull winter sky flashed across my mind. The image was faint, close to vanishing like smoke in the wind. Still, I knew it was the place I dreamed of. I can't remember much, but it couldn't have been a very good dream. Why else would I be crying?
Oi! てるか？
A knock came from at my door, pulling me out of my trance. I glanced at the clock on my bedside table. It was well past time to get out of bed. Yes, sorry, Arnaud? I'll get changed and have breakfast ready soon.
そんな慌てるなって。朝食ならできてるから、ゆっくり降りてこいよ。
Oh. Whatever I might have said, embarrassment stole the words away from my mouth. I can't believe I slept through one of my only jobs. I'm really, really sorry. Finally managing to squeeze out an apology, I hurriedly dressed myself. Once I came downstairs, I found food for 3 waiting at the table. The comforting scent of freshly baked baguettes enticed a growl out of my stomach. How many of you people watching live thought I was going to mess that one up?
おはよ
Good morning, Madam Alice. I'm sorry I slept in so late. So late this morning. Do I have you to thank for breakfast?
母さんなわけないだろ。
Arnaud put down his food, stood up, and pulled out my chair for me. Thank you.
いや、先に食べてて悪いな。
Oh, that's okay. I took a seat. Along with the baguettes, several colorful fruits adorned the table.
朝食は私が用意すると言ったのだけれど、あるのがダメだと言って聞いてくれなくて。バゲットを温めるくらい誰にでもできるのに。
料理の常識を覆していくのが母さんだろ。
そんなことないわ。ねえ。
I glanced around the room as if searching for an answer. I'd seen Madame Alice attempt to cook before. Well, calling it cooking could have been generous. I can't exactly blame Arnaud for stopping her, but at least she's trying.
母さん、こいつを困らせるなよ。
困らせていないわよ。もう、人聞きの悪いことばかり言って。
This was very much a common spectacle with these two. The Vincents and their little antics were a part of everyday life for me. It's been 7 whole years since I moved in with them. Until I was 10, I lived in Paris with my family. But after nearly drowning in the Seine River, I lost most of my memories. My father lost his life during the incident. Since my mother had already passed due to illness, I became an orphan. That was when the Vincents took me in. We, including Arnaud's father, Daniel, had stayed in Paris for some time. 6 years ago, though, Arnaud and his mother and I moved here to Blancburg. The shock had put me in a precarious mental state, so the change to a smaller, quieter town was likely for my sake. They never said as much, but I knew. Monsieur Daniel, stayed behind on account of his work. I hope he's well. I haven't seen him in a long time.
なあ、このジャム使ってみろよ。会社の人にもらってさ、もう絶品なんだ。
Oh, okay. I'll try some on my baguette. I spread the strawberry jam on the bread and took a bite. A perfect balance of sweet and sour filled my mouth. You're right. This is delicious. Arnaud gave me a wide smile.
食後のコーヒー、用意しとくか？
Allow me.
いいよ。俺はもう食べ終わったからさ。
He stood up and walked over to the kitchen. 7 whole years and Arnaud still is as kind as ever. Ever since I lost my family, he's been a constant in my life, a friend, and a pillar of support. After cleaning up breakfast, I followed Armand out to see him off to work. It was a beautiful day with clear skies and just the right amount of sun. Vibrant flowers that decorated the road swayed in the breeze.
今朝は何かあったのか？
What? Why do you ask?
ほら、お前が寝坊するなんて珍しいだろ。
Arnaud suddenly stopped and peered at me. No, it's not that. I just had a strange dream is all. I don't remember much, but I know it was sad.
夢を見たってことは眠りが浅かったのかもな。さては、寝る前に怖い本でも読んだんだろう。
It was about a witch, and it wasn't scary. The witch saved a girl from being bullied and turned her into a princess.
あのな、魔女が出てくる本は大抵怖いもんなの。それが世の中の意見なんだ。
Well, this one wasn't, and I'm not
こら。
He prodded my head with his finger.
人は自分と違うものを怖がる生き物なんだ。お前がいい魔女だったとしても、誰にも言うなよ。
I know. Not like anyone would believe me. How would I convince them, cast a spell? It wasn't just my memories I'd lost 7 years ago. I'd lost my magic, too. All that practice I'd done with my mother as a child was gone to waste. I wonder where the star necklace went. My mother and I had matching necklaces. Not only had it helped to control and regulate my magic, but it also reminded me who I was, where I came from. But it vanished during the accident 7 years ago. Witches were all but extinct thanks to cultural persecution and hunts for 4 centuries ago. My mother was the only one I knew other than myself. Despite that, our dark history still lingered. Most people weren't fond of beings like me. My parents had made sure to impress something upon me, though. Magic was a force for good. My mother at least had been a kind and caring witch, so I chose to believe in her. I believed in him as well. Who was that boy, anyway? I can hardly remember. I like this so far. All I could recall was that he'd been very important to me. Although I wasn't even sure of that either.
じゃあ行ってくるよ。今日は帰りが少し遅くなるから。
Investigating somewhere far off again? Arnaud was the reporter for a local newspaper. He had to travel often for work.
まあ、自転車で行ける範囲だけどな。あ、そうだ。
He produced a flyer from his pocket.
知ってるか？昨日移動遊園地が来たって。お前こういうの好きだったよな。
An amusement park in Blancburg? I practically leapt for the flyer and read its contents. Le Foyer du Rêve is here. Children and adults alike are invited to come and have a time of their dreams. Visit us from April 1st to June 30th. A map marked their location. They were in a forest near the outskirts of town. I don't know. I do like amusement parks, but I'll sit this one out. I don't earn my keep like you do.
何言ってるんだよ。働いてる女の人の方が珍しいし、家事だって立派な仕事だろ。まあ無理強いはしないけど、我慢する必要はないんだからな。
He ruffled my hair. Hey!
もし行ったら遊園地の感想よろしくな。取材することになるかもしれないし。じゃあ行ってきます。
Stay safe. Arnaud hopped on his bike and sped off to the office. So what do you guys in the chat think so far? An amusement park here of all places? I placed the flyer on my desk and picked up my music box. After I'd wound up the key, I replaced it on the dresser and watched the horses spin as the music began to play. The pastel top turned, glass gems twinkled in the sunlight. A kaleidoscope of colors reflected off of them, whisking me away into a world of fantasy. This little merry-go-round, this mandre? I know that word. I probably said it earlier. I did. The menagerie. Menagerie. That's why. I think it's menagerie, but I'm not sure. Was all I had left of my father. I was rather fond of it. It reminded me of the menagerie in my favorite picture book, Rêveur d'un Manège. Menagerie. You got it? It's okay. I only remember it thanks to Star Trek. My father had been an engineer for amusement parks, so we'd often visit them to admire his work. My fascination had begun there. Unfortunately, I was told I'd received this particular trinket 7 years ago. I had no memory of it personally. Still, memory or not, I'd always treasured it, and I always would. Maybe I will visit that amusement park. Arnaud had offered, after all, and I genuinely wanted to go. All right, chores first. With a renewed sense of motivation, I set about my daily tasks. I finished my work around midday when the sun was high and left home. Following the map marked on the flyer, I sauntered through town.
ねえ、いつ遊園地に連れて行ってくれるの？私も行ってみたいな。
I couldn't help but grin at the rowdy children. It wasn't every day such an event occurred around here, so I empathized with their excitement.
ダメよ、あの遊園地には行かせないわ。ハーメル事件に関係があるって噂なんだから。
The what?
ハーメルって何？大人の言い訳だよ。遊園地に行くとお金がかかるから。
The family turned the corner and promptly left earshot. What's the Himalayan phenomenon? Was she really making that up? The question hung in my mind, but I continued on my way to the forest. As the buildings and bustling faded, the trees grew thicker. Birds chirped atop their branches and squirrels scurried from limb to limb. The tranquility was contagious. What sort of amusement park is it, I wonder? My heart pounded in anticipation. I took a moment to breathe and calm my nerves before continuing. Wow! There it proudly stood, right at the mouth of the forest. A pastel gate gave way to a large fountain, around which numerous lovely attractions were centered. Even from afar, their craftsmanship was something to behold. I couldn't take my eyes away. The entire affair looked like something straight out of a toy box. I could have sworn I'd just walked into a picture book. It's all so charming. I've never seen a park like this.
そんなところで眺めてないで、中に入ったら。
I turned to a voice and a girl stood there. Her star-dappled uniform seemed plucked from the same whimsical story as the park itself.
夢の世界へのチケットはここで買えるわ。大人1枚でいいかしら。
Yes, please. I timidly paid the woman for my ticket. Even the tear away parts of a little star. That's so cute. I found another smile sneaking onto my face. The staff lady smiled back, tearing off the stub and handing me the rest. She punctured the transaction with a wink.
ようこそ、レーブ移動遊園地へ。夢の時間をお楽しみください。
The girl gestured for me to enter. I passed through the gates and with bated breath. I like this so far, it's cute. This is gonna be a very cute one. My eyes were drawn to once to the fountain, thoughts buzzing as to how they traveled with such a thing. Elephants which blew bubbles and sprayed water adorned the circumference. Children frolicked about, reaching out for the bubbles. Something smells good. The scent caused me to turn my gaze toward the many stalls set up on the right. Upon closer inspection, they were selling all manner of deviously tempting sweets, from gauzeries and pretzels to sugared fruits and cookies. Warm sandwich snacks, ball games, and other diversions also line the counters. Something about these stalls feels off, though. I approached them to investigate. Oh! To my surprise, the booths were being manned by puppets. Perhaps that wasn't the right word. They were automated puppet machines known as automations.
いらっしゃいませ。ご注文をどうぞ。
I wasn't expecting that.
ゴーフルを一つですね。
The automations addressed and attended to the customers with pre-recorded phrases. Incredible, machines with jobs.
オートマタに何か問題でも。
Tall man in uniform suddenly approached me. I knew at once he must have been with the park. This knowledge didn't make his gaze feel any less intimidating, though. For me, any less like a frog in the sights of a hungry snake. Oh, no, I've just never seen one before.
なるほど。オートマタが働いている遊園地は世界広しといえどもここだけだろう。あなたが驚くのは無理もない。だがオートマタは問題なく整備されている。安心して利用するといい。
The man said nothing more. He simply turned on his heels and left. He didn't seem very amused for an amusement park employee, because he's probably seen this too much. I shook off my awkwardness and returned to browsing the stalls. Hold on, sorry, I had to do something. Cheers suddenly erupted from the fountain. Maybe there's a show going on? I should go look. I headed towards the hubbub only to find a young man putting on a performance.
メルシー拍手どうも。でも今のはただのボールジャグリングだ。ここから披露するのは一味違うからな。じゃあ一番前で見てる君、好きなフルーツを教えてくれ。
私リンゴが好き。
それはこんなリンゴか？
The boy produced an apple in his hand, seemingly out of nowhere.
今度は奥で見てる君に苦手な野菜を聞こう。
He proceeded to materialize an apple, a radish, a mushroom, a strawberry, which he then began to juggle. The colorful, mismatched assembly flew through the air and back into his hand with ease. He improvised all of that. The crowd only continued to grow.
見えない。
Oh, I should probably move. There's plenty more to explore. I offered my spot to the boy behind me and waved my way back out of the crowd.
ありがとう、お姉ちゃん。
I quietly wished the child a good show, and I soon escaped to the fountain area. Next on my list was the area to the left with the teacups. What is that? A costumed mascot of all sorts strolled by the line of guests waiting at the ride. The lemon-colored, droopy-eared rabbit wore the same uniforms as the others and carried a flag with the park's insignia.
みんな、僕と一緒に手拍子してね。
The rabbit began clapping, and soon the guests followed suit. On rhythm, he started to move, jump, and spin around the line of people. I could just barely make out the star pattern on the suit beneath his uniform. So cute.
手拍子ありがとう。そろそろ列が動くから、前の人にしっかりついていってね。
With a wave of his flag, the rabbit left the guest. He looked this way and that. He looked this way and that. Eventually, our gazes met. The glittering, peridot-colored eyes fixed on mine.
こんにちは、お姉さん。マネージュはもう見てきた？
You have a menagerie. Damn it, every time I mess it up at the beginning.
レーブ移動遊園地の名物なんだよ。この奥にあるから、よかったら行ってみてね。
Thank you, I will. The rabbit bowed, waved his little hand, and then sauntered over to the more guests. I wonder what it's like. Merry-go-rounds, that is, menageries, varied a lot from park to park. I was curious to see this one and how it compared to my father's music box. If it's as popular as the rabbit says, I've got to see it. I set out the path he directed me towards. The sun was beginning to set, dyeing the scenery in a gold tint. The pastel top of the array of colorful horses spun before me. Decorative glass gems twinkled in the sunlight. It can't be. I was awestruck. This menagerie was the spitting image of the one from my father had made. Is this what he modeled the music box after? I never knew it was based on something. The menagerie came to a stop and the riders alighted. My feet carried me forward, all on their own. Every detail is spot on. It's my music box. It's like I'm seeing double. I reached out my hand to touch it. The cold metal chilled my fingers. Wait, why is it getting warmer? It happened before I could react. A blinding light flashed from the menagerie. What? Before I knew it, everything went white. The light had swallowed everything. I couldn't keep my eyes open. My heart pounded in my ears. The heat seethed inside me. What's happening? And then the heat vanished. Carefully, slowly, I opened my eyes. The light was gone too. I scanned the area out of pure confusion, but answers eluded me. Did I imagine all that? Other guests exchanged looks and tilted their heads.
今のは何だったんだ？
新しい演出かしら。
Evidently, I hadn't. The guests stared at the menagerie for a while before they lost interest and left. I should back away before it starts moving again. I managed to pry myself away from the ride and put some distance between us. That's when I heard footsteps.
Oh.
My heart nearly leapt out of my chest. I slowly turned around. There was a man in a pale purple-hued suit and shoulder pieces.
まさか、また君に会えるなんて。
Behind his stark white hair, he wore a complicated expression. He thought he'd never see me again. I'd never met this man in my life. Stalker! And you are...
ヒューゴだよ。覚えていないかい？君に会うのは7年ぶりだから、無理もないのかな。
Oh! My chest tightened. I'm sorry, I don't remember much from back then. I explained the incident in the river about my amnesia. I'm sorry. He frowned for a moment, but it was soon replaced with a kind smile.
いや、謝る必要はないよ、マドモアゼル。改めて自己紹介させてもらえるかな。
Please?
俺の名前はヒューゴ。このレイブ移動遊園地の園長だ。
So you run things here?
7年前は スタッフの一人だったんだけれど、おかげさまで出世してね。
He winked playfully. Did you know my father by any chance? Florent was his name. He was an engineer.
残念ながらお父さんには会ったことがないな。俺が知っているのは君だけだよ。
I see. Considering the uncanny similarity between this menagerie and my music box, my hopes had been somewhat high.
ところで、今しがたマネージュに起きた異変。あの光は君が起こしたものだよね。
Well, I didn't have the first clue. To claim responsibility for it felt inaccurate, to say the least. I apologize for touching the machinery, but I'm not sure what happened exactly. He offered a gentle smile.
安心して。責めているわけじゃないんだ。ただ、君の力を貸してほしいと思って。
What do you mean? After glancing from side to side, he leaned in and brought his voice down to a whisper.
君は魔女だろ？
I have no idea what you're talking about. Police! I quickly drew back.
人は自分と違うものを怖がる生き物なんだ。お前がいい魔女だったとしても誰にも言うなよ。
Arnaud's words from earlier echoed in my head. No one can know, no one can find out. If this is an accusation, then you're sorely mistaken. I refuted him as firmly as I could. Monsieur Hugo... How did I get the first one and I messed up the actual name? Hold on. Monsieur Hugo... There, try the trap. Monsieur Hugo appeared dejected. That's not the reaction I expected.
否定したい気持ちはわかるよ。でも、頼れる相手は君しかいないんだ。俺たちは、ここで働く人間は、魔法でこの遊園地に囚われている。それは、とても強力な魔法で、俺たちだから、助けてほしいんだ。君。
I keep doing that by mistake. I don't know what to say.
わかっているよ。信じられないよね。
He grinned, although only barely this time. He seemed earnest to me, so I didn't think he was playing some sort of trick. But trapped in an amusement park? He can't possibly think I'd just believe that, says the witch. He can't know what I am. I'm sorry, but I can't help you. A bell chimed, sounding the closing of the park and drowning out my words. People began funneling toward the entrance. I should be going.
待って。君に見せたいものがあるんだ。
Huh? He grabbed my hand before allowing me to answer. He didn't pull, though. He simply guided me as a gentleman would. We left the menagerie and passed by a number of attractions. Before long, we arrived back at the fountain. It seemed what he wanted to show me wasn't inside the park itself. Once he made certain that all the guests had left, Monsieur Hugo passed through the gate. He's going to pass through and reappear next to us. Oh, please let that be it. We were alone. Everyone had surely gone home by now. It was quiet. Not even birds filled the silence. He continued the road back to town, never letting go of my hand. Excuse me, where are we going?
俺はどこにも行かないよ。いや、行けないんだ。
We stopped. Monsieur? I looked up at him. He unbuttoned his collar. A pale white circle glowed on his neck. Is that a chain? The light took the form of a collar. Attached to it was an ephemeral chain leading back to the park.
これが魔法だよ。 俺たちを遊園地に縛り付けている魔法だ。
That is some nice art. I don't believe it. Magically trapped within an amusement park? It shouldn't have been possible, but here I was faced with reality. I couldn't deny what lay before my eyes. How did this happen?
ある魔女に魔法をかけられてね。俺はもともと遊園地が好きだし、ここでの生活は充実していると言ってもいい。でも、もう何年もこの状態で、そろそろ解放されたいと思っているんだ。
Everyone's trapped like this? Not just you?
そうだよ。
He nodded. But magic is a force for good. I thought there was no bad witches. I find it hard to believe a witch would do this. Witches aren't supposed to be evil.
ああ。悪い魔女はいないよ。これは事故みたいなものだったんだ。
An accident? I was reminded once again of the Seine River. I'd lost a lot that day, even if I didn't remember what exactly they'd been. In addition, my father and the power I'd nurtured with my mother, I'd also lost an entire year's worth of memories. The people of the Reveille had surely lost things themselves. They would continue to lose things so long as they remain captives.
大丈夫かい？少し怖がらせてしまったかな。
No, I'm okay.
それならよかった。俺の話はこれで終わりだよ。君に見せたかったものはこの魔法だから。
He stepped back and the collar and chain vanished in an instant. After a short breath, the director faced me once again.
もう一度だけ聞かせてほしい。君は魔女だろう。
Not the one that did this?
人は自分と違うものを怖がる生き物なんだ。お前がいい魔女だったとしても誰にも言うなよ。
Arnaud's words came to me again. Monsieur Hugo said witches aren't evil. If he believes that, then maybe. I took a deep breath, fingers trembling. I am a witch. A sigh of relief left his lips.
勇気を出してくれてありがとう。君が魔女で本当によかった。
But I haven't been able to use magic for 7 years. Now I'm not much of anything without that. He remained unfazed.
大丈夫だよ。君の魔法は眠っているだけだ。そうでなければ、あの時光は生まれなかった。
That was magic?
ああ、おそらくね。君の中の魔法と、ここに宿っている魔法が反応したからだと思う。さて、ここからが本題だけれど。
He clapped his hands together.
うちで働かないかい？君にはスタッフとして魔法の覚醒を目指してほしい。
Me? Work at the Rev?
もちろん報酬は出すよ。
I was speechless. I do love amusement parks. They remind me of Dad. It's not that I'm opposed exactly. I just...
考える時間が必要だね。
The pressure was at once alleviated. Yes, I would need to speak with people back home before making a decision. I couldn't go agreeing to an arrangement without at least consulting the Vincents first.
わかった。答えが出るまで待つよ。心が決まったらここへ来てほしい。君のために門は開けておくから。
Thank you.
Au revoir, mademoiselle.
Monsieur Hugo waved me goodbye as I left. Bidding farewell, I started on my way home. I really like this, but unfortunately, as much as I'd like to continue this, I have to call it here, because I've got to go take care of some pets. So I may end up continuing this demo later, or picking the game up from here once it comes out. So thank you guys who watched live, and if you haven't, check out my other channel, Sinfully Pure, and, check all the links in the description. Keep being awesome, everybody. Bye.